The population of Singapore is aging rapidly due to higher life expectancy and lower birth rate. In 1998, only 14% of our population fell in the age group of 55 and above. By 2020, this figure is expected to increase to 27%. According to the Ministry of Manpower, older people aged 50 and above made up close to about 1/4 of our current resident workforce. This percentage will increase further over the next 10 years due to our aging population. So, what are the issues facing the older population? Due to their relatively less educated profile, the majority of the older workers are employed in lower skilled jobs such as cleaners and laborers. Will they be able to age gracefully and purposefully in Singapore?
Meet the Huopie Gang. Their mission? To investigate Singapore's most pressing social issues. You are watching Social Investigation.
Today, our focus is on the economic plight of older workers in Singapore. Currently, there is certain age discrimination in our performance-based wage system.
The older workers' employer CPF contribution is reduced from the age of 50.
Secondly, older workers can have their salaries reduced by up to 10% when they reach the age of 60.
Finally, the CPF minimum sum drawdown age is deferred when the retirement age is raised. The team went on to look at annual reports from the Ministry of Manpower and Tripartite Committee found at Lee Kong Chian Reference Library.
Back in 1998, many companies had a seniority-based wage system, paying older workers many times more than younger workers doing the same job. With increasing official retirement age, this is especially a concern for employers as it meant that the older workers will be getting even higher pay down the road with raised retirement age. Hence, employers are given the choice of reducing the pay of older workers by up to 10%. The rationale for reducing the employer's share of CPF for older workers when they turn 50 is also to lower cost of hiring older workers to encourage employers to retain these older workers. As for the deferment of CPF minimum sum drawdown age, the rationale is simple.
And you look at the lifespan, people are living beyond 80 years old. So if the drawdown age is younger, then it will have an impact on the retirement savings, because if they're going to draw down and then they make use of all their savings, then if they will not have enough for their own retirement.
80 surveys were conducted. 69% of our respondents disagreed with the deferment of CPF minimum sum drawdown age.
For our street interview, a member of the public expressed her strong objections to the deferment of CPF minimum sum drawdown age.
It's money that we earn throughout the years, sweating for it. Okay? So, return it to us when it's due. If you're 40 years old and above, once anyone is retrenched, I think they are dead to the job market.
And if you keep increasing that minimum sum drawdown age, basically you are saying that you are preventing these older low-wage workers from withdrawing their life savings in order to use for their healthcare needs, for their retirement needs. And if you keep increasing it, it makes a mockery out of the life savings that we have put aside. It's really our own money, and that's being prevented.
In January this year, there was an article published regarding the Workers' Party's concern over the deferment of the CPF minimum sum drawdown age. 60% of the respondents disagreed with the policy of CPF reduction, and 68% of the respondents disagreed with the policy of pay reduction. Even a Japanese worker described his displeasure towards the pay cut in Japan, as Japan also had a greying society.
Do you agree that to Japan's system of having a pay cut up to 20%? Do you agree with it?
I want to agree, but we have to agree.
At the time of starting this documentary, the government has announced that they will remove the 10% pay cut for civil servants with effect from July 2011. Is the wage system now a fairer one?
No. First, when they reached 60, their pay was dropped 10%. Then when they reached 62, and then they were being rehired on a contract basis, many of them were claiming that, well, we're being rehired to do the same work, but we're getting another 10% pay cut.
Yes, that's the reason why, in the first place, the law, when the retirement age was extended from 60 to 62, gives employers the flexibility to cut their wages up to a maximum of 10%, subject to all the factors.
And what about the government's policy on CPF cut for workers aged 50 and above?
So this is one way of saying that, look, if you employ older workers, age of 50 and above, then your cost will be lower. And to make it a lot more palatable,
At the end of the day, we also have to question the effectiveness of these policies. It is an incontrovertible fact that younger workers are preferred in the workforce and old experienced workers who are very useful in their job sector are valued. Even with the current policies in place, there are still many who are unemployed when they reach above 60. Ms. Tan raised this concern earlier, and recently, the issue of unemployment of older workers has been brought up again in the newspaper. Hence, wouldn't it be the case that less educated older workers find themselves unemployed, while those valued older workers who are more educated keep their jobs with their wages reduced for no reason? Therefore, we propose certain changes to the wage reduction policies. Firstly, CPF cut at 50 and pay cut at 60 should not be applied to older workers in all sectors, as this is unfair to those who continue to be doing the same job and not suffering fall in productivity due to age, because there's bound to be a significant number of people within this category. Secondly, Singapore could practice job sharing for older workers to reduce cost of hiring older workers, at the same time allow the older workers to have a less demanding workload, still keeping a job. Should the government find it most effective to reduce pay and CPF to help the older workers keep their job, employers should reduce the responsibilities and job scope of these older workers as well. However, we feel the need to abolish the wage reduction policies in a performance-based wage system.
What we should be looking at is finding ways to restructure jobs, redesign jobs, so that more older workers can enter the workforce, can continue to remain in the workforce, and can continue to contribute in the ways that they are best able to contribute in. Maybe it's their experience, it's their ability to connect with people, and that's how we can harness the earning power, we can harness the productivity of our older workers. We shouldn't just be looking at ways to increase the employability of older workers by reducing their wages. That's a very narrow-minded way of looking at things, of solving this problem.
Coupled with the older workers constantly upgrading themselves to raise their competitiveness in the job sector, there should be less reason to apply CPF and pay cut.
Now, for the lower middle income group, the government should constantly be aware of the situation, rendering financial assistance to them in the form of tax reliefs, further CPF rebates, additional workfare payments, and further comcare assistance to help them cope with the reduced wages once they reach 50 and above.
On the deferment of CPF minimum sum drawdown age, it should be fixed at 60. Currently, under the CPF Act, workers with certain illnesses preventing him from being able to go to work will be allowed to withdraw CPF earlier. From our interviews with Mr. Giam and Ms. Radha, there are indeed people who face aging health problems, finding it challenging to go to work, but they are considered fit for work, rendering them unable to draw out their CPF earlier, and hence they may be struggling to cope with the higher costs of living. In many instances mentioned earlier, it seems that there are still many older workers who are unemployed above 60 despite these government measures. Therefore, what is the most immediate way to solve this problem?
Firstly, the most important thing is not to keep increasing the minimum sum drawdown age.
We feel that the CPF minimum sum drawdown age should be around 60 years of age. The drawdown money usually runs out in around 20 years' time, so it will be around 80 years old for many. As there will be many children to look after them, but the minority will live past 80 and have no savings left could then be financially assisted by the government.
By and large, CPF savings is hard-earned money accumulated over the years. Hence, citizens should have the right to take out their CPF minimum sum at the age of 60. In a strictly performance-based wage system, there should not be any discrimination in terms of age for the older workers in the pay compensation system. These older workers, after all, will become better educated, and with their experience, they would still be able to contribute a great deal in their job sector.